Trump met with Russian leader Vladimir Putin for nearly 3 hours today to discuss a resolution of the war in Ukraine, or that was supposed to be what the purpose of the meeting was. That closed-door meeting was followed by a rather vague, rather low-energy joint press conference, at least by Trump, that is, in which both leaders cryptically referred to some points of agreement, even though, by all appearances, no actual deal had been made, at least not one that they shared any details on.
I believe we had a very productive meeting. There were many, many points that we agreed on, most of them, I would say, a couple of big ones that we haven't quite gotten there, but we've made some headway. So there's no deal until there's a deal.
Sounds like there's not a deal, I think, is our takeaway. I mean, I should say that the term press conference is actually somewhat of a misnomer for what occurred tonight. Although there were plenty of press in the room, neither Trump nor Putin answered any questions whatsoever from them. And neither leader laid out any actual specifics about what progress they made, if any, in their meeting today. In many ways, today's press conference, I'll put that in quotes, was less about what was said and more about what wasn't said and who wasn't there. If today's press conference was your only reference point, you might have no idea that Putin started the war in Ukraine. You might have no idea about the well-documented war crimes Russia has committed there, or that Putin could end the war at any time if he wanted to. You might not even know that Russia is an adversary, not just of the United States. The International Criminal Court literally has a warrant for his arrest. Today started with Trump literally rolling out the red carpet for the Russian dictator, and then riding alone with Putin without either of their aides in the presidential limo known as the Beast, which several of my guests in the last hour noted they hope it's being swept for any bugs in there because he's a former KGB agent, just to give you a sense. Now, despite Trump saying before this meeting that there would be very severe consequences if these talks did not go well, Trump and Putin spent most of their time in front of cameras today praising each other. And I mean lavishly, despite absolutely no evidence they had actually achieved anything whatsoever. The whole thing was stunningly chummy. As the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee in Ukraine's parliament put it tonight, Putin won the information war. He used Trump to show that he is not isolated. Not only did Putin not appear isolated today, after a decade of being isolated by the global community, including the United States, it appears the two are already planning a second date.
We'll speak to you very soon and probably see you again very soon. Thank you very much, Vladimir.
Next time in Moscow.
Oh, that's an interesting one. I don't know. I'll get a little heat on that one, but I could see it possibly happening.
So there was that.
President Trump, I just saw your press conference with President Putin, and it was embarrassing. I mean, you stood there like a little wet noodle, like a little fanboy. I mean, I was asking myself, when are you going to ask him for an autograph or for a selfie or something like that? I mean, you literally sold out at this press conference our intelligence community, our justice system, and worst of all, our country. You're the president of the United States. You shouldn't do that. I mean, what's the matter with you? I mean, whatever happened to the strong words or to the strength of Ronald Reagan when he stood there at the Berlin Wall and he said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall? What happened to all that?
So I just want to tell you, she wants open borders. Now we can talk about Putin. I don't know Putin. He said nice things about me. If we got along well, that would be good. If Russia and the United States got along well and went after ISIS, that would be good. He has no respect for her. He has no respect for our president. And I'll tell you what, we're in very serious trouble because we have a country with tremendous numbers of nuclear warheads, 1,800, by the way, where they expanded and we didn't. 1,800 nuclear warheads, and she's playing chicken. Look, Putin, from everything I see, has no respect for this person.
Well, that's because he'd rather have a puppet as president of the United States.
No puppet.
And it's pretty clear.
You're the puppet.
It's pretty clear you won't admit that the Russians have engaged in cyber attacks against the United States of America, that you encouraged espionage against our people, that you are willing to spout the Putin line, sign up for his wish list, break up NATO, do whatever he wants to do, and that you continue to get help from him because he has a very clear favorite in this race. So I think that this is such an unprecedented situation. We've never had a foreign government trying to interfere in our election. We have 17 intelligence agencies, civilian and military, who have all concluded that these espionage attacks, these cyber attacks, come from the highest levels of the Kremlin, and they are designed to influence our election. I find that deeply disturbing, and I think it's
She
time.
has no idea whether it's Russia, China, or anybody else.
I am not quoting
she has
myself.
No idea.
I am quoting
Hillary, you have no idea.
17 do you doubt 17
our
military
country has
and
no
civilian
idea.
agencies? Well,
Yeah,
he'd rather believe Vladimir Putin than the military and civilian intelligence professionals who are sworn to protect us. I find that just absolutely
she doesn't
end that war between those two countries in 24 hours. It won't even take that long. Mark my words, I'll stop that war in 24 hours. I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine totally settled. I'll have it done in 24 hours. I would have a deal done in 24 hours from the time we started.
And even now, I could solve that in 24 hours.
I can do it in 24 hours. I know both players, and I can do that in 24 hours.
Could end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours.
Yes, I could.
How would you do that?
I know Zelensky very well. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, I will have the disastrous war between Russia and Ukraine settled. It will be settled quickly. I will get the problem solved, and I will get it solved in rapid order, and it will take me no longer than one day. I know exactly what to say to each of them. I got along very well with them.
Well, I think the press conference underscored something that Ambassador McFall, Ali Velshi, and I have been talking about since 4 p.m. Eastern. I mean, this was, for Trump, a television production that may have been rooted in different motives, but one of them was likely to change the topic of news coverage. It succeeded in that. We've all been covering this all day, for better or for worse. But clearly, Trump was not in control of anything. I mean, Putin was the alpha all day long, from Trump holding on his plane and waiting for him like a, middle schooler waiting for their first date. The red carpet that rolled out and the choreography. I mean, I went to dozens of foreign trips with the president. It is very rare to have a red carpet and then an ascent to a platform and then a walk down the stairs into a limo together. I won't say it's never happened, but it's exceedingly rare, to the point that I can't think of it ever happening before. And then Donald Trump, don't stand between Donald Trump and a scrum of reporters asking questions if you don't want to be stampeded. There's no way it was Donald Trump's decision or request to take no questions. He'd be talking until 9 p.m. Eastern if he'd been in control of anything that happened today.
Veteran protesting ICE in Portland tackled from behind.
He does not need to be tackled like that. He is a veteran of this country.
The next day, the Army is at the National Mall at Union Station in D.C. in their up-armored Humvees and MRAPs.
These are your own fucking citizens. These are homeless people. You guys are fucking crook. Don't let them do this to you.
Federal police setting up checkpoints in D.C. Police harassing people at their homes. The cops kicked down this door without a warrant. They went inside for about 30 seconds and then they left. Clear as day violation of the Fourth Amendment.
Why would y'all break the door like that?
ICE in Los Angeles had a man in their custody. He was handcuffed. He got away from them. He got hit by a car on the freeway, and they left him there to die without rendering him aid. Heavily armed and masked Border Patrol showed up at the venue where Governor Newsom was holding a press conference talking about redistricting on November 4th for California. Federal police being used to intimidate a political opponent. This all happened within 24 hours. So you tell me, is this normal? Are we freaking out for no reason? Is this how a normal free society operates? Are you okay living in a world where troops with their armored vehicles occupy your cities like the green zone of Baghdad? Is it normal for supposed law enforcement to have someone in their custody, watch them get hit by a car, and then just leave him there to die? 100% 100 Border Patrol showed up with their guns to intimidate their political rival. If that isn't fascism, tell me what that is. Is any of this normal? Is this okay? Is this the country that you want to live in?
Life in the United States is profoundly changing, is profoundly different than it was even 6 months ago. Because we do now live in a country that has an authoritarian leader in charge. We have a consolidating dictatorship in our country. And it sounds melodramatic to say it, I know. But just go with that for a minute, right? Think in melodramatic terms. Think in cinematic terms. Imagine the cartoon-level caricature of what you think a dictatorship looks like. I mean, it's secret police, right? A massive, anonymous, unbadged, literally masked, totally unaccountable internal police force that apparently has infinite funding, but no identifiable leadership. And they act in ways designed to instill maximum fear and use maximum force. I mean, when you imagine an authoritarian country, right, what you imagine is masked secret police breaking people's car windows and snatching people off the streets and out of church parking lots and courtroom hallways and taking them away with no charges, no notice, no paperwork, no explanation, not letting them see lawyers, and then moving them secretly to what are effectively black site prisons, where they won't tell you who's there and where no one's allowed in to see what's going on. Right? In that kind of a cartoon caricature of an authoritarian country, the one you might have imagined in melodramatic and cinematic terms ever before we got here, you would expect, right, that you'd have a scapegoated minority group blamed for all things. In our case, immigrants. Right? And the new extraordinary powers and shows of force by the secret police, among other things, all these extraordinary powers and shows of force will be framed as necessary to stop this terrible internal enemy. Right? Frame everything as immigration enforcement. Because for immigration enforcement, not only is all force justified, but maximum force is preferred. And they're trying to make it into a national entertainment to threaten to feed immigrants to alligators in South Florida. Right? They're making them eat off dishes on the floor, like they're dogs. The Crome Detention Center in Florida. They want us to like that, right? The Republican Party wants to sell T-shirts about that. And if you think it's only about immigrants, take the president's own word for it when he says the homegrowns are next. And then he starts musing publicly about which Americans he intends to strip of their citizenship. In a cartoon caricature of an authoritarian country, displays of military might are not just for the country's external enemies. They're for the country's own people, right? Because in an authoritarian country, you turn military force inward toward the people of that country. And so now we've got these large and expanding military zones in multiple states where they have extended the legal boundaries of nearby military bases to include hundreds and hundreds of miles of nearby land. So they can give active duty U.S. troops the power to arrest and search people on U.S. soil. They are now doing that over hundreds of miles of territory in multiple states. Both The Intercept and The New Republic in the last couple of days have had new reporting about Trump administration plans to permanently integrate the active duty U.S. military into, of course, immigration enforcement. So we will have our own U.S. military troops mobilized on U.S. soil. U.S. military force turn inward on us in an ongoing and permanent way. For immigration enforcement, right? And, like they tried in L.A., to put down protests against the government. Because those protests relate to immigration enforcement. What else do you think of when you think of authoritarian countries? I mean, in the worst case, you think of death camps. We don't have those. What we do have are black site prison camps, including huge new ones that are designed to hold thousands of people. The biggest ones we've yet had have just been bidded out to contractors for construction, and they're building them now on U.S. military bases. And they say they want states to build them all over the country. In the cartoon caricature of an authoritarian state, there's secret police, there's prison camps, There's the scapegoated enemy on whom all things must be blamed and against whom all things are justified. Protests must be criminalized. Media must be intimidated into saying and doing what the leader wants, or they must be shut down, or both. Universities must be intimidated into saying and doing what the leader wants, or they must be shut down, or both. Law firms must be intimidated into not opposing him and saying and doing what he wants, or they must be shut down. And for institutions like that, it's not just the boldest or most strident critics of the president who must be shut down. It's the most mainstream, right? It's the most prestigious, the most credible, because that's what's so dangerous about them. There can't be any source of authority. There can't be any source of authoritative statements of fact that compete with what the leader insists must be the new truth. And so government departments will be stripped of their experts, and he will fire his way through them until they tell him things that he wants to be told. If you want to be a 4-star general or admiral in this military, you must now pass a personal one-on-one interview with the president, who personally will decide if you are to his liking or not to be a flag officer in this military. The intelligence agencies will say that his strike on Iran obliterated their nuclear program because he likes that word, obliterated, and he said it once. And therefore, because he said it, it must be true. And if you say otherwise, you will be fired. The Justice Department will say that the president won not just the last election, but he also won the one before that, the one he actually lost. And anybody who points out that Russia tried to help him win the one before that should be criminally charged for saying that, even though it's true. We are not heading toward something like this. We are there. It is here. It is the environment in which we are now living. And so, given that you now live in a country with an authoritarian leader, the question is, what can you do for your country? The question is no longer how to prepare for this risk or how to try to avert it, but rather how to fight it now that it is here and in effect. And, you know, we're awake now. It's clear. We're all living here. It's very obvious that this is not going to get better on its own. This is not going to fix itself. An authoritarian just seeks more and more and more power throughout not just politics, but through all of society, systematically trying to eliminate any effective means of opposing him. This is a one-way ratchet if we leave it up to him. But that at least does give us some clarity for Americans who do not want to leave it up to him, right? We're beyond waiting and seeing now. It is clear what is going on. It is clear now that these small d democratic tools that we've got right now as a country, these are as good as it is going to get. We are never going to have more resources to fight for our country than we do right now. And so Americans are using those tools, and it is worth paying attention to the ways they are doing it. They are filming the secret police and publicizing everything they are doing. Even when the secret police scream and threaten and say, "You're not allowed to film us," they are filming them. They are following them everywhere they go. They are not letting them have the power of surprise. They are refusing to be afraid to watch them and record them and show what they are doing. We have opposition politicians, Democratic politicians, insisting on being let in, going to the black site immigration prisons and demanding to be let into them. We have Americans protesting outside those facilities and showing up and calling the media and pulling every string they can when someone they know or someone they know of gets taken. Americans are making it as sticky and annoying and awkward and embarrassing as possible for these guys, and that slows them down.
I believe that this just happened to be a coincidence.
There is no way this was a coincidence. This was widely publicized that the governor and many of our other elected officials were having a press conference here to talk about redistricting, and they decided they were going to
Monrovia, California this morning around 10 a.m. ICE began to raid our Home Depot. They took 10 of our day laborers, and a man was killed in the process. My name's Hannah. I am the student who organized this protest you see right behind me today. I was in class when I found this out. I found out that they were raiding, so I pushed out on all my platforms to try and get the community together. We want Donald Trump and his ICE Gestapo out of the office. We don't need a felon there. We don't want ICE terrorizing our communities.
It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well, yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Trucker John.
All right, hey, testing. Oh, let me turn this AC down a little bit, or up, or whatever. All right, guys, can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? Test. Let's see if I get some volume here. Hello. All right. Yeah, okay, there I am. Thank you guys for your patience on that. It was a bit of a long intro. Thank you there. I do see the thumbs ups from a couple people there. Thanks so much. Good morning. It is 11:42 a.m. Pacific time zone, and it's 94 degrees here in Las Vegas. Our high today is only going to be 101, which is amazing. So I'll take it. I'll take that for August 16th, 101. I'll take that. Thanks for watching, though. We got 36 watching, 43 thumbs up. So we are acting like good Democrats and operating at a surplus, on a surplus there. Now, I did see, I'm not able to scroll back to the beginning of the chat, but I believe it was Mommy Bestis was first. Mommy Bestis. And then I think VD Hertz. And then I think William. And then after that, I don't know. That was your top three, I think, as far as being in the chat. Thank you guys for waiting. I'm sorry about the name thing. I know that's bugging everybody. There's nothing I can do about it. It's a YouTube thing. I know I've had issues with YouTube before, and remember when I couldn't get to, I could never go to all messages or something. I remember, and then eventually it started working. So I don't know if that's another thing that with this name thing. We just got to wait for them to reverse it, I guess. But in the meantime, we'll just put up with it, I guess. Anyhow, those clips that I played, yesterday I did some experimenting about playing in clips, and you guys that were watching, that I can't really play clips while I'm doing what I'm doing now because of the way I'm using this app on my phone, and I don't have any volume control. That's the main issue. So those clips that you see, like in the intro, that's kind of the stuff that I would probably be playing, like during the show. During this show or this live stream or blog or whatever the hell this thing is. But since I'm not really set up to be able to do that, then I just kind of put it all at the beginning. and then maybe we can talk about some of that stuff. Now, of course, the big thing is the Putin, Trump, Alaska summit, and like how Sparks was saying, I don't know if there was much of a summit. It was something. It was something, but I don't think it was a summit. Nothing was accomplished other than we just got reinforced of what a pathetic loser Donald Trump is, and how he's just wagging his little tail when he saw his daddy come home, as in Putin. It's sad. It's pathetic. Like Arnold was saying, where's the strength? Where's our leadership? Even Reagan, who was just a Hollywood actor, really, at least he could act with some sort of strength. Truly, truly pathetic. We have a pathetic leader, a pathetic pedophile, felon president. And it's really sad. And we've been cursed with living in interesting times, I believe. Anyhow, let me just say hi. Now, I'm not able to scroll to the top, like I said, to the very beginning of the chat. So it did skip me down. And it's where Fancy's here. So I see Fancy here. Teresa TAK is here. Good to see you, Teresa. Thanks for being here. VD Hertz, as mentioned, I think was like second in the chat there. We got Old Moms. Nick Rich is here. Hey, Nick, good to see you. Thanks for dropping in. Paul Burrows is here. Hey, Paul. Good to see Paul from, I think, around Idaho, up there, Idaho or Eastern Oregon area. I think truck driver, right, Paul? Fellow truck driver. Josh, here, ladies. Josh is here. Christina Weibel. Hey, Christina Weibel, good to see you. Says, get him out. And I'm really hoping you're talking about Trump and not me. But yeah, I know. I know you're talking about Trump. Susie Jones is here. Hey, Susie, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. Gary, can I call you Gary, is here. Which I believe is, Gary, can I call you Gary, is actually Tom? With the truck and the car issues and walking to work in Texas. Anyhow, I'm just going to say, Gary, can I call you Gary until I can get confirmation on who you really are? Because I know this name thing is frustrating. It says, wow, everyone changed their name. Well, this is a YouTube thing. This is the YouTube problem. It's been going on my channel for like a week now. And it sucks. No one likes it. We all hate it. Hey, Jen Up the Bass is here. Good to see Jen. You don't mind if I call you Jen for short, do you? Jen Up the Bass? Jen Up the Bass. You're going to Jen Up the Bass. Come on now, Jen Up the Bass. Olga Martinez is here. Hey, Olga, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. Thanks for hanging out in the old driver's lounge. Always good to see you here, hanging out with us. MJ Daniel from up there in Washington State is here. He says, building a police state in front of our eyes, and the Republicans applaud as if this will not include them too. If you are not sufficiently loyal enough to the dictator, it won't matter if you have an R or a D next to your name. This reminds me kind of the scenario that Rachel Maddow was painting there, and it made me think of Russia, of like Stalin Russia, Stalin era, and of course, Russia is all over this. This is all, we go back to 2016. I'm sure we can go before that. Obama, they found out, all this massive spying going on, and he kicked out, I guess, all their diplomats or whatever. I mean, this stuff has been going on forever. Of course, we had the Cold War. Russia is just relentless, right? I mean, they just won't go away. And then we have a sycophant, a Russian sycophant like Trump. And of course, they won't go away. But this is like, as far as having this dictator, this wannabe dictator in Donald Trump, and to the point of what MJ Daniel says about how this will include them too. it's just like being put on these lists eventually, like in Russia, what they would do in the old Soviet Union. They would have lists. They would have people and to determine whether you were you loved the country, you loved Mother Russia enough, and if you didn't, they would disappear you. They would put you in a gulag, and you'd never be heard from ever again. That's where we're headed, man. You think building all these fucking camps, these black sites, and all over the country is just going to be just for, illegal immigrants? It's going to be for anyone who doesn't appear to be or sufficiently loyal to Donald Trump. And we need to stop it. We need to stop it now. And like Rachel says, we're not going to have any better tools at our disposal than what we have right now. It's only going to get worse. So we have to seize the opportunity now with every way we can. Whether it's with Gavin Newsom getting the seats and nullifying what Texas is doing, whether it's protesting in the streets, whether it's throwing a sandwich at the goddamn motherfucking ICE officer. We need to do all of it, all the above, man. Record, make sure everyone's got cameras now. Everyone, they can't get away from the cameras. Everyone has a fucking camera in their fucking pocket. Record that shit. Record their license plate numbers. Record their faces. I've seen a few times where the masks have slipped down. Expose them. There is a video I just saw, I should have posted it, where they're doxing a bunch of these motherfuckers. We need to do everything. It's time. It's the by any means necessary time. But we're there. We're there, folks. In case anyone had any doubts if whether or not we are there, we're there. Aaron West is here. Hey, Aaron, good to see you. I'm pretty sure you were already here, but I had to skip down and I didn't see. I don't think I saw you, but I mean, I did see you, but I didn't say. I don't think I've said anything. I haven't come across your name yet, but now I did. Yeah. So let's see. There's Olga Martinez says, "Well, shall we buy stock in Geo or CoreCivic, or shall we impeach 47?" I would love to impeach 47. Let's get a house. Let's get the house. Let's get I think at least 67 Democrats we're going to need in the Senate. Let's do it. MJ Daniel, fascism playbook to the letter. Absolutely. Trump, and with the help of Stephen Miller, the self-hating Jewish Nazi, all those folks around him, it's Project 2025. It is like fascism 101, absolutely. The Lucky Minutes is here, says that not enough people have had enough yet. We're getting there. I think more and more people are waking up and not liking what they're seeing. Old Moms said, it's pretty funny. Melania Trump threatened to bring $1 billion lawsuit against Hunter Biden. And that nothing will happen to that because they don't want all that discovery to come out, So it's just a bunch of blather. Big Dog with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Big Dog. Yippee! $4.99. There's a thumbs up for you and a heart. Where's the heart? There's the heart. Wait, there it is. Thank you, Big Dog. Damon Dog with Big Dog. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you helping support the show. Keep us going. We got that new chair in the mail. It should be here next week. Yeah, someone said, who was it? Said They put a comment like, "I hope it's hard to put. I hope it's easy to put together." And I'm like, yeah, "Me too." But I don't. Hopefully it will. I don't think it should be that difficult. I bet you it just comes in maybe like 4 pieces, like the main chair, maybe the arms you have to put in, and then like the base, and then probably pop in a little. I think it has wheels, so I think it should be pretty easy. Hopefully, yeah. VD Hertz says Hunter looks forward to Melania's deposition. Yeah, let's get it. Let's do it. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's get you depoed. Let's get everything on record. Let's bring all the evidence in. Let's get it all documented. Boom, bam, bing, bada bing, bada boom. Let's do this. Big Dog NC, Hunter Biden 2028. Watch MAGA heads explode. Yeah. We'll get a Biden back in there one way or the other. Josh says they can publicly air the Melania versus Hunter suit on the Discovery Channel. There you go. Who else we got in here? Nefarious Enough is here. Good to see you. Now I'm reading your at names. I don't know your actual screen names that you use a lot sometimes. So I apologize. Again, it's a YouTube thing. I don't know. Hopefully it'll get resolved sooner than later. The sooner the better. We got What About is here. Good to see you. Squirrel Girl's here. Hey, hello, Squirrel Girl. Squirrel. Easy for me to say, or something like that. Sandy Foltz is here. Hey, Sandy, good to see you. Thanks for joining us in the old driver's lounge. Christina Weibel's here. Luck Dragon, the best damn show in the world. I agree. Thank you, Luck Dragon. I think you're talking about my show. Old Mom says, well, we're waiting on Gavin Newsom to announce he's running. Oh, well, he will. And I would say he's not going to announce until probably sometime in 2027, late 2027 or something, right? I mean, it's a little early to announce you're running for president, I think. But he certainly is, jockeying for the position and getting his name out there now on a national basis, because that is important. As we've seen, it is important to get your name out there. There are people actually in the world that have no idea what's going on, or very little, or they just see the headlines. There's a few headlines here and there. So, but I don't think he's going to officially announce until probably way after the midterms, and probably, what would it be? Somewhere around mid 2027, maybe. We really start seeing everyone sort of jockeying for position for those to start running in the primaries and stuff. Olga Martinez says, so much comfort here. See the demos, like demographics. Arise, okay. It's the English. If the English is hard, peace, Trucker John. Olga Martinez, you're doing great. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. I do appreciate you. Chris Doug's here. Good to see Chris. Thanks for coming on into the old driver's lounge. Looks like some of you were singing along to the old theme song. Nick Rich says 11:42. So what am I? 16 minutes behind. Just so you know, I'm 16 minutes behind. Oh, bless my little heart. Bless my little soul. Well, there's the thumbs up. So that's just when I came in. Nefarious Enough and Aaron West with giving me the thumbs up, and the lucky minute. Old Mom's yes hearing. So I'm just now. That's where I'm at in the chat, where I just popped in. Chris Doug says my head is still spinning from making a major mistake. I went to Costco on Saturday morning. Bad idea. Because it's real busy, I guess, is the idea, and the lines getting out of there is really long, probably. Chris Doug says it took longer to park than to shop and check out. Wow, so when those Costco parking lots are full, that could be a problem. Been there, done that. Anna Moore's here. Hey, Anna Moore, good to see you. She says, hello, fellow loungers. I hope you are all enjoying today. We're trying. We're trying. Do our best. Let's see here. Chris Doug, fix your name in settings. Did you fix your name in settings? Because it doesn't look like you did. Anyhow. William's here. User PH9WT3UE7C, otherwise known as William. And I will, for now on, refer to you as William. Thank you, William, for being here. Do appreciate you. Old Moms exposed my secret name. That's funny. People think these are secret names. We could just go on your channel. I think we would see it. Everyone has a channel, right? Nick Rich acting weird since the leaderboard thingy started. Well, this happened way after that. Luck Dragon, I was number 27 again 2 days in a row. Ooh, look, 27. That might be your lucky number. There's something. Squirrel Girl says great clips for sure. Thank you, Squirrel Girl. Glad you enjoyed that. Big Dog, Damon Dog, the Big Dog's here, says just ordered a fuck ICE, we the people, no human is illegal 8647 t-shirt, only $16 on Amazon. Wear it with pride. Wear it around town with pride. Olga Martinez says, fine, I'm happy with the extra digits. I guess revealed. Fancy says, is it tie-dye? I must be mid-thread on something, or I must have missed part of that convo. For Damon Dog. Oh, Damon Dog shirt. Okay, now I get it. Sometimes I'm a little slow. Okay, so that must be in reference to Damon Dog's shirt, whether it's tie-dye or not. Old Moms, yeah, I'm hoping for more shirts. I need to get my shirt inventory going. I need to fix up my dang thing. We can get some Trucker John merch, Trucker John t-shirts that have quotations of my witty comments, like you gotta pound that shit home, or what was I saying yesterday, or whatever, or just or just a good old fuck Trump with a little Trucker John logo. Josh says it's kind of stupid to have the default option for chat on some messages instead of on all messages. I'm talking to YouTube. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, the default should be all messages, I think, but I don't know. Old Moms, they have to be cute t-shirts. Okay. Chris Doug says, I posted this simple statement on all the live streams I participate in. The Alaska summit will yield nothing. And look what happened. Nothing. You were right, Chris Doug. Nothing happened other than, I think, just exposing Trump, like I said, for being the pathetic little loser, Putin puppet, sycophant that he is. Further exposing that. Agolf Twitler's here. Hey, Agolf Twitler, good to see you. Thanks for joining us in the lounge today. Putin says he didn't invade Ukraine. I don't know why he would. Oh, that was the quote from Trump going back. I believe that was from the Helsinki meeting. Was it not? No, it couldn't have been that far back, was it? Well, anyhow, pretty sure that's a Trump. That was a Trump quote. Big Dog says, "Old Moms, I like to buy 2 new teas a month. My little treat for myself." BD Hertz says, "USA producer price inflation soaring." I did see. What was that? We're watching. Were we watching that on Boston Bryan or something, or maybe I don't know. I see so many things, but yeah, the PPI went up almost a full percent in that last report. And when you're talking about these are the wholesalers, uh, you know, this isn't like the consumer, so that's a huge increase, and it's all going to be passed down on to us, the consumers. Old mom says Trump can barely walk now. Well, I'm right there with him. I can barely walk myself. Susie Jones says I'm recovering from a ruptured eardrum. Ooh, that does suck. Hope you get better on that. That doesn't sound fun. What about just says Chicago? What about is your name? Do we know you by some other name, or from now on? I guess I'll just say what about. And thanks for being here. I do appreciate you coming on in and hanging out with us. And this is the old House Sparks After Show Hangout. But you don't have to have been listening to House Sparks. I mean, anyone's welcome. We're open forum. We have a pretty big lounge here, so come on in and hang out, kick back, relax, all that kind of stuff. VD Hertz Trump waddles, but he doesn't fall down yet. Susie Jones says, fancy, I think it was injection from chronic allergies. I don't know, antibiotics are working. Ask Una says, am I blocked? Well, if you were blocked, I don't think I would be able to see you. But ask Una, what is your normal name? I think we know you as another name. But anyhow, just thanks for being here. I do appreciate you for coming on in. I do apologize for the the things. Like I said, that's a YouTube thing, and there's nothing I can do about it until it just goes away. Robert Perez from down San Diego way. Good to see you, Robert. Thanks for coming on in. See, I know it says Bob Perez, but I know that's Robert Perez. So, anyhow, good afternoon. This is good afternoon, Trucker John, and all fed up with corruption in D.C. Have a groovy day. Have a groovy day. What about says first time catching you live, Trucker? Oh, first time. Okay, I can figure that out. First time catching you live, Trucker John from Chicago. Well, thank you. What about? I'm glad you're here. Glad you found us. I hope you'll stay around and hang out with us. I think we usually have a pretty good time hanging out. So thanks for being here. I hope you'll come back. I'm on Monday through Saturday, right here on Trucker John channel on YouTube. So thanks for coming on. Kevin Anderson, 007 Kevin Troll Slayer, otherwise known as, is here and is just so happy to see Fancy. Aaron says, I see you. Yeah, we see you, Ascona from Chicago. BD Hurt says, F Kiss, F Gene Simmons. You know what? I was just thinking of this last night. I don't know why it popped into my head. I was walking over to, I went and had dinner at the Longhorn Hotel Casino, which is a really divey kind of, old place that I really have had no desire to go into. But they do advertise some pretty good food specials, and a couple of people recently have told me that that they're actually pretty good, the food and stuff. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try it. So I went ahead and Ubered down to the Longhorn, and they had a steak. It was it top sirloin or whatever it was, I don't know, but it was a steak dinner for $12.99. And so you get a steak, you get baked potato, a little bowl of peas, and a really nice, yummy little kind of sweet, buttery roll, like a dinner roll. Now the steak, it was good, and I ordered it medium, which is what I usually do because it's kind of a crapshoot. If I say medium rare, it's kind of a crapshoot whether it's going to be too rare or not. So I usually just order medium, and that's kind of a crapshoot too, because sometimes it comes out medium well or too well. But if they undercook it a medium, then that comes out to what I think should be medium rare. And that's last night. That was what it was. It came out, I think, medium rare, which I think was what do I want. That's what I want. Anyhow, but the thing is, and they tell you how many. I think it's supposed to be an 8-ounce steak or something. So it's not a real huge one. But on the plate, I mean, it was a little tiny steak, but it was good enough. It was enough. I don't need to have a big giant steak. I need to watch my portion control anyhow. So yeah, you get this little steak, but it was cooked very good. Tastes very good. Nice baked potato. I even ate the peas, and I've never really liked peas before. I even ate about half of my peas. My mom would be proud of me. She would have been proud of me. I ate like half my peas, and they actually tasted good. I don't know. Who knew? They're probably just straight out of the can or something, or whatever. But I don't know. So yeah, and I had that, and they have $3 beers. So I had a couple of Modelo's for $3. $3 a beer. That's not too bad. It's like in a restaurant in the Vegas area. So that was my dinner, and then from there I just walked over. It wasn't too far of a walk. It's just like, I don't know, half a mile or less to Sam's Town. And there's they have a movie theater there. And I went and saw a movie last night. I went and saw F1 because I felt like seeing a movie. I was gonna go see Nobody 2, but then I decided to see F1 because I wanted to see F1 in the theater, in the big theater. And so I figured it's probably not going to be in the theaters much longer. So I went and saw F1, and it was very good. I enjoyed it. If you like race car movies, this is a good one. So anyhow, I saw that. But as I was walking, you know how you're walking, you just start thinking shit, I guess. I started thinking about Kiss and how I think Gene Simmons is kind of an asshole, and he has been for a long time. I mean, like way back when I was in high school, I didn't know if Gene Simmons was an asshole. I didn't know if Ace Frehley was an asshole. But now I do. But I still like their music. I guess my point was to myself was I still like their music. I've always liked Kiss. Even though Gene Simmons is a fucking asshole, and Ace Frehley is a total fucking asshole. I mean, he's worse than Gene. But and Ace Frehley, he's been out of the band for a long time now. But I was thinking, even with that, I still like their music. I guess it's going to take a whole lot more for me to like totally denounce Kiss or something. I don't know. And then I started thinking about Van Halen and how much I really love Van Halen. But now I've had some of the female folks in the chat will say, well, they never liked Van Halen because David Lee Roth is a misogynist or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, that sucks. And I get your point. But I was probably just as much as a misogynist as David Lee Roth was when I was, younger. So, I mean, that doesn't justify it. But I still love their music. And Eddie Van Halen, I love Eddie Van Halen. He's my favorite guitarist. I think he's a genius. But kind of stuff comes out about him being kind of an asshole, But I still love Van Halen. I'm not going to love Van Halen and their music. I still love their music. I love their art. I love what they produced. Their music gives me joy. So, I mean, I guess it just takes a whole lot for me, I guess, to not like someone's music. I don't know where I'm going with this. I know VD Hertz has been talking about Kiss and about this stuff, and so then it reminded me last night. I was just kind of having that same kind of conversation in my head about people that, well, like for instance, I will not listen to Ted Nugent, and I will not listen to Kid Rock. Now, back in the day, before like when I was in high school, I liked Ted Nugent. I liked Stranglehold and all that shit. But for the last, 10, 15 years or whatever, I mean, or at least 10 years, we've really seen what a douchebag that what's his face is, Ted Nugent is. and Kid Rock, and it's not that I was a huge Kid Rock fan, but I thought that some of his songs were cool. They were kind of that cowboy or whatever it was, it kind of this rock rap fusion. I would turn that up when that song came on. I would turn it up because it was like a rock and like kind of song. But those are two artists that if they come on the radio, I immediately change the station. I won't even give them any of my ear time. Even though me turning the station, they don't know that. There's nothing that I don't think there's anything that records. If I'm listening to an over the air station, that no one knows that I turned away. But if they were on any of my playlists on Spotify or on Apple Music, I deleted it. I just cannot listen to Kid Rock or Ted Nugent because they are total maggots. So I suppose if Eddie Van Halen, if it was discovered that he was a total maggot, he's been dead for 6 years now, I think. But there was all kinds of quotes of him saying just really horrible, awful things about Hillary Clinton or, and just really promoting Trump and MAGA, then maybe I would probably not listen to Van Halen anymore. But so there's nothing that bad. I guess I can forgive the misogyny. I can't forgive the maggoty stuff. So I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing. Where do you guys fall? Like how what is the line that you're willing to go to before you will to where you can't forgive an artist, let's say an actor or a performer, a singer, rock star, or whatever? I mean, I think we all have a line. And like with Kiss, I see Gene Simmons as just being, he's always just come off as this kind of an asshole, kind of arrogant, whatever. And Ace Frehley is just a total nut job. But I still like their music. So I don't know. I guess we all have our limits on that. So whatever, you guys want to share anything on that, let me know. Gary Cunningham, I'm Tom. Yeah, Tom Bias. That's right. West Virginia. Oh yeah, truck is still in the shop. I just bought a 2008 Toyota Avalon. That's right, fully loaded, 28.5 MPG, $1,000. Yeah, Gary Cunningham, Gary. I knew. Yeah, Tom. I knew you were Tom. And you've got the different names and stuff. It does get confusing when they don't put, the name that you normally use. It's very, very confusing. Dictators. Yeah, old moms. That one guy in the Russian entourage had a CCCP Soviet Union sweater on. Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday. And that's the thing. That's one of the disgusting things that Trump has invited this America hating fucking war criminal onto U.S. soil. And not only is that offensive to me, and I never served in the military, I can only imagine what it must make all of the people that have served, how do they feel? Knowing that our president is welcoming this war criminal onto our soil and onto our base. But it's that kind of thing. It might be that kind of thing that will wake up some of our service people and think twice about following unlawful orders. Maybe, hopefully. The seeds are getting planted now. Kelly Gary, otherwise known as Tom Bias, says if the J6ers used sandwiches, I doubt they'd have been prosecuted. Yeah, they were using bear spray and stun guns, and there were guns. They found around people up in trees with guns. They found carloads full of guns. There were guns there too. But yeah. Old mom says, "Oh, damn it! I hope to live my remaining years in a democracy, but nope. Evil shits took over the federal government." Well, hopefully the American people, we the people, will do everything in our power to fight against this and turn it back. Turn them back. Turn this autocratic takeover. Let's turn it away, If you're Daniel, got my computer chair at a state government surplus store for $10. Good deal. It's a good deal. Squirrel Girl, welcome to Driver. Hey, Squirrel Girl, thank you so much for becoming a member. I do appreciate you. So, yippee going out to Squirrel Girl. I'll give you a yippee as well. And I do appreciate you. Remember, our membership started at a low, low price of $1.99 a month. Susie Jones says, the wedding was nice, TJ. Hope everyone had a great time. Oh, I think everyone had a great time. I showed that video. The reason I posted it was so that my daughter and my ex, they were watching it, and they said they loved it. So I'm glad they loved it. I was a little worried because it's just amateurish. It's just shot from my phone, shot from the hip, so to speak. But they still loved it, so I'm glad. Nice little keepsake for my daughter. Mr. Spock's here. Hey, Mr. Spock, live long and prosper. Mr. Spock says, "Oh my God, trying the global unity thing on the Luke Beasley live was a waste of time. Good to see friends." I have no idea what you're talking about. I know who Luke Beasley is, but I don't know what the global unity thing is. You know what? I like Luke, but he was much better, at least in my opinion, when he was out doing the in the crowd thing. And he was just that to me. That was, and now I mean, the rallies and stuff are pretty much over, so I could see where you can't go do it, but he was going to the rallies, like Trump rallies, and just speaking truth to those maggots, and that was the best thing about Luke Beasley. Now he's in the studio, and he's still good. He's a good kid, and he's ideology. As far as our ideologies, we're all the same. But I just don't. I'm just saying, I just don't really enjoy his videos like I did when he was out. Going into the lion's den, so to speak. Kevin Anderson says, Trucker John, it never will. It was a lie on YouTube's part to begin with. I'm not sure what that was about. It was a lie on YouTube's part. What was I talking about 16 minutes ago? I don't know what that's about. What YouTube was lying about. MJ Daniel says, does that make MTG and Boebert the Arby's caucus? I guess a joke on the play on the Laura Loomer comments. Mr. Spock, and yes, I'll shut the F up about it. You don't have to shut the F up about it, Mr. Spock. I just totally sort of probably said some things that some Luke Beasley fans will get pissed off about, because I said that I liked him better before than I do now. And they'll discount the fact that I said I still think he's a great kid and has, great ideologically, we're all still in line. Robert Press says, like Snoop Dogg said about supporting Trump, I'm with the Gangsta Party. Okay. Which one is that? Beatty Hurst says, what happened To MLB on Saturday, only one game right now. Pathetic. Probably all. It's all like you got to pay. They want everything to be paid like a pay service or whatever. It is pretty pathetic. I agree, VD Hertz. The Chris 12 noon. I'm 25 minutes behind, so I might skip down a bit. I might be skipping some of your chats, so don't get mad, don't get offended. It's just nature. It's the nature of the beast. You know what I mean? I know you know what I mean. I know you know what I mean. VD Hertz says I used to be a Costco member where I live. Have all three. I like BJ's more, so that's what I use now. I don't know what BJ's is. Of course, we have Costco and Sam's Club. I don't know what BJ's is. Must be a back east thing. Mr. Spock says, "Oh, my screen on my iPad was frozen. I was just making sure we're not frozen because on the phone it's not frozen. So I hope we're good. Anyhow, Mr. Spock says, imagine all armies globally converted to global emergency task force. It's possible if we demand it. A global emergency task force. Well, kind of like, you mean kind of like UN peacekeepers, maybe? I don't know. Beathurst says Snoop Dogg went to Trump's inauguration. Fuck him. Oh, yeah. Gary kind of call Gary. I'm pretty sure YouTube censors comments. And there are certain settings you can set too, like of how strict you want to be about what people say and stuff, I guess. So it could also be on the, the channel holder or owner or whatever we're called. Damon Dog says, yes, I need a Trucker John shirt or two and a mug. I know, Damon Dog. I got to get on that. I got to fix my merch store. It's a mess. It's not right. Nothing's right about it. I need to fix it. Mr. Spock says, take control of your future. Don't let them tell you your future. You're in control. I think you're in control. But anyhow, be the change you want to be. Okay, let's get all Gandhi. Let's get all Gandhi on you. I skipped down quite a bit because I'm just trying to not be a half hour behind. 27 Tacticus Kilgore is here. Yep, I hit the like button twice. Oh, and so this one here, I believe this might be another. Is that another Tom Bias thing? I don't know. Anyhow, thanks for being here. I do appreciate you. I did skip down, so I've skipped a lot of the chat, your guys' comments. So we just gotta, we gotta do it. I can't read every single one, or I'll be 2 hours behind. So, Old Mom says, does Mr. Spock have a bug out bag filled with gold coins? David Dog says, oh, John, I saw that with all the lighted trees. Looked like a very nice place to sit and read a book. Very serene. Oh, it wasn't a very nice place to read a book. You're talking about last night at Sam's Town? I mean, it's actually kind of loud in there. I mean, because like behind you, you've got the casino noise. And then inside there, well, I mean, it was nice. The waterfall, it did seem nice when I was sitting there in that little gazebo area. But then as I was walking around, there was like a bunch of families with kids, and they were like screaming and shit, and the kids were screaming. I don't know, kids just every now and then they scream for some reason. But it was kind of nice hearing the waterfall, the water. There's something soothing about a waterfall, even if it's a fake waterfall, or a man-made waterfall. But yeah, it was cool. The lights, it was pretty. It is a nice place to sit and take a little break. If you've been, walking around and you need a place to take a break. Yeah, Tactical Killer. Oh yeah, I'm Tom Bias too. Yeah, I thought so. Would you rather me be Gary kind of Killer? It doesn't matter. Whatever you want. whatever you want, Tom or Gary or Tacticus Kilgore. It's completely up to you. Up to you, man. BD Hurt says Bahama Breeze is in Hughes Park wasn't bad. Oh yeah, there's a Bahama Breeze right there. Yeah, I've never been in there. Nick Rich Food Talk 12:10. So I'm 20 minutes behind still. Even with all the skipping down, I'm still 20 minutes behind. Sammy Carter's here. Hey, Sammy Carter from across the pond. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate you for coming on in. And yeah, Tacticus Kilgore says everyone dies, even Trump will die. I hope sooner than later. As I posted yesterday, a little meme was people will line up to piss on Trump's grave. He will not be missed, and his death will be celebrated. It's quite a legacy, right? That he's leaving. Oh, is Jolie here? I didn't. There's Jolie. Says Jolie, just a quick hello. My kids are taking me on some sort of mystery outing today. I have no idea what we're doing. They won't tell me. That sounds wonderful, Jolie. You're probably gone already because I'm 20 minutes behind. But I hope you have a great day with you and your daughters, and I'm sure it's going to be a fun outing. And you deserve it. You deserve a break. So go out there and have a good time. Jolie says, have a fun show, and you have a good one, Jolie. You have a good one. Beatty Hurts, I knew Simmons was an asshole in the 1980s and 1990s. Well, Beatty Hurts, you're way ahead of the curve. You're way ahead of us. Or at least most of us, I guess. Mr. Spock, Paul Stanley is the Good Kiss member. Yeah, Paul's good. And what's wrong with Peter Criss? Now, I know he's left the band a long time ago, and they've had like 17 drummers since then. But, you know, because that's another thing I was thinking about last night. I was thinking like, okay, Paul's a good one. He seems to be a really good guy from everything I've seen, interviews or whatever. He seems to be a good guy. Ace Frehley, just a total nutbag, nut job, you know, a real out there nut job. And Gene Simmons is just a total class A asshole. And I was like, what about Peter Criss? And I'm like, I really haven't heard anything about Peter Criss, so he's probably okay. I never heard anything bad about Peter Criss, so I'm thinking, he's probably okay then, you know. I don't know. The Lucky Minute says, I never understood the Kiss fandom. It's just one of those things. Beatty Hurt says, ever notice Kiss Simmons never did benefit concerts? I didn't really notice that. Old Mom says, I love the Deadpool movies, but I think Ryan Reynolds is an ass. I've never seen anything about him being an ass. I don't know. I think he's kind of funny. Susie Jones says, David Lee Roth is a fucking slob. I had to clean up his puke at the hotel I worked in as a teenager. Well, I don't think that's actually necessarily being a slob as much as it is being, you know, a drunk or drinking to excess and not being able to handle it. I mean, I think I'm not saying it's any more right, but I think it might be a different thing than just being a slob. A slob to me is someone who just throws all their clothes on the floor and never picks them up. Someone who's puking because they probably have drank, you know, 3 bottles of Jack Daniels and whatever else they could, you know, and then maybe was too drunk and passed out to clean up their own puke. I don't think that's really being a slob as it is just being gross and probably have some sort of drinking problem that you should have looked at, that you should get help for. Anyhow. 27 Tacticus Kilgore, that makeup put them over the top. Really Hurt says none of them have 10 straight albums of success like Led Zeppelin. Well, yeah, they're not even in the same ballpark as Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin, absolutely. I love Led Zeppelin. I mean, they're kind of in a whole their own fucking category, I think, you know. And last night I was watching F1, and I believe it kind of opens with Led Zeppelin. God, see, VD Hurts, you're going to be so mad at me because I have my memory is shit. I can't remember the Zeppelin song that they were playing, you know, on the soundtrack, but it was pretty cool. You know, it's one of their very famous Zeppelin songs. I can't even fucking remember it now. I apologize for my shitty memory. And I just saw the movie just last night, you know, so something's wrong. Something wrong, Hummer. One hit too many to the head playing football, I think. Luck Dragon says Kiss is going to sing Christine 16 at the Kennedy Center honors performance. Well, I heard that they might not show up because I think I don't know if Paul's going to show up, but I thought, didn't Hal say, or someone said that they heard Gene Simmons is not going to show up? So if they're not going to show up, they're not going to show up. Mr. Spock, Gene Simmons is a pro-capitalism douchebag. Well, I guess I'm a pro-capitalism douchebag too, because I'm pro-capitalism. I just think it needs to be well regulated. Josh says Nugent is not very good at guitar, which may or may not be the case. All I know is I'm not a musician, and I just know what I like. And I used to like Cat Scratch Fever and Stranglehold. I used to like those songs. Like, this is back when I was in fucking high school, so please forgive me. I'm not a music aficionado or anything. I just know what I like, what I hear. And I used to like the Nugent songs back in the day, way back in the. I'm talking about back in the late '70s. Susie Jones, I prefer Sammy Hagar with Van Halen. I do not, and I love Sammy Hagar. I think Sammy Hagar is a great guy, and I love all the Van Hagar stuff. I love that era, but I still like the David Lee Roth era much better. I think it's grittier, it's rawer, it's more, you know, I don't know, it's just more classic Van Halen to me. Those first few albums, 4 or 5 albums with David Lee Roth, to me that's Van Halen. But I still love Hagar, they had some great songs, great hits, great albums with Hagar. But I still prefer, see that's me. To me it's not either or. It's not like I like David Roth, so that means I have to hate Hagar. No, I do not hate Hagar. I love Hagar, and I think the Hagar era is great. I just prefer David Lee Roth era. I think it's better. I think it's more of what, when I think of Van Halen, I think of that era. I think of the first probably 4 albums. And that's, you know, that's all I got to say about that. David Dog says my music tastes have changed over the years. I even went through a country western phase. I've done that. I've had a couple of those phases, but I eventually found my way back to classic rock. But I pretty much, even if I'm in a country western phase, doesn't mean I'm not still listening to rock. Nick Rich, 12:15 Music Talk. So what the hell am I? I'm 15, about 24 minutes behind, I think. 24 minutes behind. I'm 24 minutes behind. Josh says you could teach a kid to play like Ted Nugent in a month. That's fine and dandy, and I'm not saying that I'm not saying he is a great guitarist. I'm not saying he's a bad guitarist. I'm just saying there was a time when I used to like his music, and now there's a time when I cannot stand his music because of finding out what a fucking douchebag he is. That's my point. One Vision is here. Hey, One Vision, good to see you. Thanks for coming on into the old Driver's Lounge. One Vision says Stephen Vai, YouTube 25 guitar players who did tapping before Eddie Van Halen. Eddie wasn't the shit he was an extension of badass players. You know what? I know people like to. There are haters. There are Eddie Van Halen haters. I don't really get it. You can like who you want to like. It's all kind of subjective. To me, I know who Stevie Vai was. I listened to all those motherfuckers. But there could be a million guitar players that know how to tap. Or just tapping. On the frets and play. But Eddie Van Halen had a style where he could just, I don't know, just riffing and going off on these tangents, these riffs. I mean, I don't know. I just think to me, he's my favorite. You don't have to like him, but he's my favorite. Vidi here says Eddie Van Halen's mother was 100% Filipino. Well, fine. I don't know why that's pertinent. Yeah, I think his mother was Filipino and his dad was Dutch or whatever, right? I'm primarily Norwegian and Irish with a bunch of other little shit with English and French and apparently American Indian in there. So what are we doing? Are we doing our genealogy now? Luck Dragon says Ozzy Osbourne used to wake up at night in cold sweats screaming, "Damn you, Led Zeppelin." That's pretty funny. The Lucky Minute, none of my bands have failed me yet. Olga Martinez, I listen to the art beaming from the cracks. Try Mez Que Nada, Sergio Mendez. I've heard of Sergio Mendez, but Vidi Hertz. Again, Eddie Van Halen was 50% Asian. So what the fuck? What is your point? I don't understand the point. I did skip. I apologize, Vidi Hertz. I did skip down in chat, so maybe that was in reference to something that someone had said, or it came up and I did skip down in the chat quite a bit. So I guess I shouldn't get so quizzical or whatever. NJ Daniel, Nugent is rock for guys in their 40s and 50s of maturity of a 14-year-old. No, Nugent is a washed up has-been whose music is 50 years old, and no one really it didn't hold up very well over time. Like Zeppelin, I can listen to Zeppelin, and to me it sounds just as fresh and new. And I don't mean like new and it's what all the kids are doing today, but I mean to me it's not old. It's not like dated, or it's not like I don't want to listen to it because I'm burned out on it or whatever. I will listen to Zeppelin over and over and over again, and to me, it's just as a fresh sort of experience as the first time I heard it in the 70s, 50 years ago. So they have music that's 50 years old, 50 plus years old, but it's still, to me, exciting to listen to. Nugent, his shit, even if I didn't hate Nugent for being the fucking scumbag, dirtbag, maggot that he is, it wouldn't have that same effect on me. It would just be like, oh, there's that old 70s song, I mean, so you can see the quality. The quality, it's not even the same. The quality of Led Zeppelin versus the really shoddiness of Ted Nugent. It's stark. It's stark in the difference. Mr. Spock says the music you listen to when you're 18, 19 is what you well, I think there's a typo there. Is what you blank throughout your life. Is what you listen to throughout your life? Not really. Not for me. One of my favorite eras of music is the alt rock era of the '90s, the grunge rock. I was in my 30s at that time. It's still some of my favorite music. Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots, all those groups, and not all of them. I kind of group them in with grunge, but they're definitely alt rock, and they're definitely from the '90s. Soundgarden, all that '90s, and Soundgarden, I think definitely a little harder rock than those other groups. But so at least for me, I mean, yeah, the music that I listened to at 18 and 19, I still love though. I mean, and that is Boston and Foreigner, and of course Van Halen. For me, it was Foghat, Thin Lizzy, Aerosmith. That was when Aerosmith was good. Those I still love all those bands. So I see your point, but there was music that came along in the '80s and the '90s and even the 2000s. There's a lot of stuff today I really love. I love 21 Pilots. I think they're really awesome. I love Cage the Elephant. So I kind of just like what I like. David Windler is here. Hey, Dave, good to see you. Thanks for coming in. David says, Kiss rode our tour bus for a day. Very immature. I won't listen to them. What do you mean they rode your tour bus? Why would Kiss ride your tour bus for a day? Were you in Poison or something? What group were you in that Kiss would be in your tour bus? Do we have a rock star in our midst, David Windler? Are you a secret rock star? The Lucky Minute says if Maryland went MAGA, if Maynard went MAGA, I'd have to rethink all life choices. Is that the guy from Primus? Old says no, not Tool. Okay, I'm skipping down a little bit here. So if I skip some of your guys' posts, I apologize, and I will try not to get confused if someone says something that I probably missed. Josh says Spock. I'll agree. It never goes away, but I can say the same about more modern stuff I like. Oh yeah, see, yeah, that's kind of like what I was saying. There's a lot of more modern stuff that I like. Kind of mirrors what I was saying. What if it says it's okay, Trucker John 3? I served, so you didn't have to. Well, I appreciate your service. I do appreciate your service, and there was a couple times where I almost went in, and then I was just like, and it was done, it was peacetime and all that kind of stuff, but I didn't think I would have really any problems. This is the time when I was younger and in shape, and I was always training for football and stuff. So I didn't have any qualms about getting through basic training or whatever. I just wasn't sure if I could live the military lifestyle, or if I was going to be down with it or not. I don't know. So I always backed out. So I commend you, all the folks that served and didn't back out. And for some reason now my chat isn't letting me go back. It moved up, and now I'm back. So anyhow, and it's really pissing me off when it does that. Luck Dragon says Tom Rush. Okay, so I've missed a bunch of chats. The chat, it moved, and I can't go back. So I'm sorry. So Sandy Foltz says, where's Trixie LaRue? I don't know. She doesn't come in like she used to. We miss her, don't we? Josh says, I'll take Mockler over Beasley for presentation. I like Mockler too. And those two guys, Beasley and Mockler, they're tearing it up with they're growing their channels and everything. So my hats are off to them. But yeah, I like Mockler. He's good. He's a good kid. Squirrel Girl says, hello, Joshies. My message didn't show in chat, so post it again. Gary Gary Mockler sounds very grounded. One Vision, how far behind is Trucker John? I'm pretty far behind. VD Hertz, I don't need convincing. Plenty of history of fascist failures. Nick Rich, make sure you're in all messages. Yeah, I'm in all messages. If it's in top messages, you miss a bunch. Mr. Spock, Luke does good content. Should be more global unity. Every progressive political commentator should be on board with global unity. It's logical. What makes you think that he's not in favor of global unity? BD Hertz says BJ's is competitor with Sam's Club's Costco. Well, I kind of figured that. I'm just trying to think if I ever saw it in my travels as a truck driver. I don't remember. I don't recall it, but maybe I did. I don't know. Gary Gary, I'm in favor of almost starting a third party. Me too, because I think it's just going to take. It's going to just distract or take away from the Republicans, make them even smaller. Susie Jones says Zelensky is coming to DC on Monday. I did see that. So we'll see. We'll see how much more assholes like JD Vance can shit on him because they don't like his clothes or something. Luck Dragon says I respect Luke Beasley, but he laughs at himself too much and it's kind of annoying. Yeah, Luck Dragon. It does get annoying. I agree. Really hurts. Elmo is an oligarch. Fuck Elmo. Yeah. I just meant, from the aspect of him trying to start another party, go ahead and let him do it because all it's going to do is it's just going to take away Republicans. I don't see very many Democrats or left-leaning independents joining his party. Is my point. It's not that I want an oligarch to be, in power or whatever. It's the sort of breaking the other side up. I think is what that would do. Scroll. I'm in live chat, not top chat. I've heard it's the best to be in. Yeah, you're in live chat. We're all in live chat, but then you have a filter that will be either all messages or it'll just be what they call top messages, which I'm not sure how they determine what the top messages are. But if you're in top messages, then you won't be seeing all messages. Okay? But we are all in live chat right now because this is live and it's the live chat. It's you're chatting as this live stream is being streamed. Hope I didn't confuse things even worse there. Nick Rich says expecting logic from humans is beyond their frequency needed currently, Mr. Spock. Paul Burrows, I made bacon popcorn. Yeah, Damon Dog says, Susie Jones, Zelensky is better than me. I would not be able to hold my tongue. BD Hertz is saying 82 Fahrenheit in Utopia, Vermont. I suppose that's not too bad, providing that the humidity isn't too bad, hopefully. I don't know. One Vision says, okay, I said next fucking week. Here I go. Everybody chant green, 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 green. One Vision, 111. Welcome to Driver. Well, thank you, One Vision. Yippee, going to you. And that's the green, 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 green. Yeah, thank you very much. I do appreciate you for doing that. Welcome to Driver. And like I said, only $1.99 a month. Look at there. Vision. One vision says, "Oh shit! I changed colors." Part of the big green machine, the lean, mean green machine. Thank you, there, One Vision. I appreciate you. Susie Jones says Hurricane Aaron is 160 miles an hour over San Juan. Yeah, I saw Hurricane Aaron got upgraded. I guess last night. Yeah, Love Dragon. Kiss is going to play Christine at 16 at the Kennedy Center Honors. That would be appropriate, I guess. VD says Kiss sold out. Like not sold out as in their concert is sold out. I think he means sold out as in they're being sellouts. I think that's what you meant, right? Marsha's here. Hey, Marsha, good to see you. Says hello, Trucker John. Back to slow typing, but I'm here. Well, glad to have you here. Always appreciate you. So thanks for coming on in. VD Hurt says I worked in Homestead after Hurricane Andrew in 1990s. Gary Kennicoli Gary says, will Kiss wear their makeup at the honors? I don't know. But I'm not sure if they're even going to be there. Come to think of it. Mr. Spock says, how's business driving? TJ making some money. Thanks for your good show. You need a good break. You know what, Mr. Spock? Full confession here. I have not driven all week. I just now that it's getting cooler, I don't have the excuse of the heat. So I'm gonna try to drive today. I've been saying that for the last 3 or 4 days. I'm gonna try to get in, but today I'm gonna go in and drive. I just I've been staying home, and I went to a movie last night. So, but I'm gonna work tonight. Luck Dragon says, fun fact, Tom Cruise turned down the Kennedy Center honors when he found out Donald Trump was going to personally hand him the trophy. Yeah, I heard about that, and I say, bravo, Tom Cruise, bravo. Bravo to you. And with this chair that I'm sitting in, I can't wait for the new one, because now that it's like kind of breaking apart, this chair, it's getting very uncomfortable. So now I'm at over an hour and a half sitting in this chair, and it's starting to get very, very uncomfortable. Can't wait for the new chair to get in. This one's getting totally uncomfortable to sit in. Vita Hertz says, my friend gave me a Kiss lunchbox in the 1970s. I used to draw over their faces. Funny stuff. Paul Burrows does not give two shits about Kiss. I just like their music. It's just, to me, I've always just thought of it as just being like good, basic kind of hard rock music, you know? Robert Press says Trump picked Kiss because of the Nazi as at the end of their name. Oh, because of the way they do the S's, kind of like a lightning bolt, and it kind of looks like the SS type of thing from Nazi Germany. Josh C says Tom Cruise is still a douche, but good for him for dissing Trump. Roxanne, hey, Roxanne 79's here. Did I say hi to you earlier, or did you just now come in? I don't know. But Roxanne, thanks for being here. Roxanne says, I love Prince song Kiss. I do too. That's one of my favorite Prince's songs. And I really love the Tom Jones cover version of it. I think Tom Jones did a great version of that. One Vision says, Nick Rich, the difference between a music something and a person who loves music equal Trucker John 3. or a musician maybe. The difference between a musician and a person who loves music equals Trucker John 3. Okay. Okay, I am skipping down a little bit in the chat. And I'm really hating this chair. It's very uncomfortable. Josh says, Zeppelin is definitely one of the best bands with a massive catalog. I love Led Zeppelin. I think they're awesome. They just are kick ass. And I know they got a lot of heat for taking old blues songs and not giving attribution to some of those songs that people are saying they were stealing. You know, so they've got controversy too. And I'm not an expert on that on that whole topic, but and I think that's wrong if they were stealing songs. You know, even though they redid them, they did them in their rock version. They still should have attributed where those songs were from, and given certainly writing credits to those. You know, what it was like. I don't know, what, Muddy Waters or whatever. You know. Nick Rich, Whole Lot of Love. I don't think it was Whole Lot of Love that opened that song, or opened the Formula One. I can't remember. Beatty Hurt says, well, Simmons owns Kiss, so if he doesn't show up, Christina Weibel says, I just stepped out to check on a show I love from 1970s called Alice. Just love that show. Is that the sitcom that was taken from the movie Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore? If that's the one, and that's the one, like, you know, Kiss My Grits and all that stuff. Yeah, I remember that was a good show. One Vision, how many guitars do you play? I don't play any. I do have a guitar in storage, though. It wasn't Stairway to Heaven. No, it wasn't Stairway to Heaven, Nick. Gary Carol Gary hears barking. That must be on your end. I don't hear any barking on my end. Zeno the Bass. Oh, yeah, Chris My Grits. I know. One Vision says, Van Halen never had a platinum record until Sammy Hagar. I know. They had more success commercially under Sammy Hagar. And that's because Sammy Hagar is more of a pop rock artist and is able to appeal to a wider base of people. Like I said, I love Sammy Hagar. I loved Sammy Hagar way before he was ever in Van Halen. I loved him when he was in Montrose. I loved him as a solo artist. When David Lee Roth left the band, the first person I thought of, and this is way before they ever announced it, the first person that popped in my head I thought would be a great replacement was Sammy Hagar. That's true. It's a true story. And lo and behold, I don't know when it was, 6 months later, 9 months later, maybe a year later or whatever, they all of a sudden at the God damn it, what was the Willie Nelson Farm Aid? Van Halen shows up basically with their new guy, Sammy Hagar. And it had just been announced that Sammy was in the band, replacing, and so they performed a Farm Aid, and they didn't do Van Halen songs because they hadn't had a chance to like even practice or rehearse anything together. But they all knew. What song did they know? A Led Zeppelin song. So here we go, full circle, back to Led Zeppelin. They played Rock and Roll. Look, Dragon wants to make sure that we all see this because I think this is the second or third time posting this. Lug Dragon says 10 Years Gone is my favorite song of all time. Okay, duly noted. Duly noted. Lug Dragon says mostly because it's the funnest song to play on the guitar. Roxanne 79, I like ZZ Top too. I like ZZ Top. I do. And now Lug Dragon again. 10 Years Gone is my favorite song. So either this is where sometimes I kind of accuse Lug Dragon of being a bot, but then Lug Dragon says that it's their phone acting up and then it glitches and repeats the post. Like, and there's that one again. So I don't know. That's weird though. I don't know why it does. I don't know why that is happening. I just know why. MJ Daniel says the first 3 Van Halen albums are my favorite. Saw Van Hagar live at the '88 Monsters of Rock, and that was really good. I did too. I saw them at Monsters of Rock. Was it '88? I guess it was. I know it was at the Coliseum, the LA Coliseum. I went there primarily to see them, but we also got to see, Metallica, which was awesome. I mean, I think we saw Scorpions. I mean, there was a whole thing. But I mainly went there just to see Van Halen. Damon Dog says, I get it, TJ. TJ, I'm a firm believer that people can hold 2 opposing views at the same time. Roxanne says, I like older country music. I love Garth Brooks back in the day and John Anderson. Plus, I love Reba. Yeah, they're okay. But this chair is killing me. It's causing like a cramp in my hip, in my right hip. And that ain't good. Sandy folks, when is your chair coming? Hopefully, it says between Wednesday and Friday of next week. So, One Vision, Eddie had style. I agree. Roxanne 79, love Zappa and Captain Beefheart. Vinny Hertz says, I saw Van Halen at their peak 1984 tour, Buffalo, New York. Good show. I saw them at the US Festival in 82 or 83? It was one of those. It was either 82 or 83. And I was like almost front row. US Festival, like 1 million fucking people. And I was able to get front of the stage. And it's probably the highlight of my life in terms of, music and concerts. Definitely my favorite concert, my favorite time. To be able to see Van Halen literally about 10 feet in front of me, up on a stage, a raised platform, raised stage, up there, doing their thing, swinging across the stage, jumping off the fucking amps, Michael Anthony rolling all around and doing his thing. I mean, I loved it, man. I hope I never lose that memory, because you know how memories go. But, and they, at that time, I'm not sure if they were like, Vidi says at their peak, but I do think in 82 or 83, whatever year that was, they were definitely like at the stage where I call them like owning the world. They're artists that they reach a stage of their careers where they are like owning the world. I think Madonna owned the world for a while. Taylor Swift has owned the world. The Beatles owned the world. Elvis owned the world. I think in this time, probably that 82 to 84, I think Van Halen owned the world. They were on top of the world. And like you say, One Vision, commercially they had more success with Hagar. They had a great run there, definitely in the 80s. Great run for them. Gary, can I call you Gary? Eddie had more character as a guitarist on stage. And I've seen many great musicians, great guitarists really sing the praises of Eddie Van Halen. I mean, that's got to carry some weight, you know. I can't sit in this chair much longer, guys. Nick Rich, it's fun when John skips. I imagine him skipping around his apartment. Roxanne, Nugent sucks ass, in my opinion, and I agree. Let's see. I'm skipping down a little bit. I'm really thinking about. I need to add another pillow to this chair. I've got pillows stacked on it to try and cushion, because what's happening is this chair is falling apart, and the metal framing of it is in such a position that it's just causing discomfort to my basically my right leg, my rump, my right cheek, my hip, my right hip. And I think I need to get another pillow. Maybe that'll help, because it is so uncomfortable. It is so very uncomfortable. It's causing me discomfort. So I'll be back. I'm going to just stick this one pillow on there. See if that will help. I don't know. This whole right side of the chair is like falling apart. I'm just hoping that it lasts the next, what is it going to be, 5-6 days? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the next 4 to 6 days. I hope this thing will last. That does feel better though with that extra pillow. With the pillow. One Vision 80s at best era rock. I know we've had that type of conversation before. To me, I think I really like the 70s rock era the best, and I really like the 90s with the alt rock. Bill Deacon today, Bill Deacon. How can you leave out Black Sabbath? I was never really a big Sabbath fan, actually. Want to know the truth? I think it was one of those things where they first got really famous, and I remember my older cousin having Black Sabbath albums, or at least the first couple albums, and listening it through him. And I like the band, but I know it's one of those things where I kind of slipped through. They kind of slipped through my listening or whatever. Because I remember Deep Purple, and they had a big hit, "Smoke on the Water," and they had other big hits. But it seems like Sabbath, some of those bands, maybe at that time, I was still more listening to like Three Dog Night or something. I don't know. But I definitely love Iron Man, and I love more than anything, I love the drumming on a lot of Sabbath songs more than even the guitar. Tommy, was it Tommy? Tommy Anomi, or whatever his name is. I really love the drumming on Sabbath. But yeah, Sabbath, of course, they're iconic. Old Moms, Jethro Tull, yeah, they're good. I've never been a big Tull fan, actually, but they're all right. I've got another cousin who was really into Jethro Tull, so it's just, to each their own. Christina Weibel, Whitesnake. Whitesnake was cool. That's an '80s rock band, and they tried to be like Zeppelin, and they pale in comparison, but still, in the Still of the Night, was that the song? I'll crank that up when it comes on the radio. It's David Dog, Pearl Jam, Sublime, Red Hot Chili Peppers, going into a lot of the '90s stuff. Christina Weibel, UB40. As far as I'm concerned, they've got one song. Hard to hold it up to a Zeppelin that has like a million songs. Paul Burroughs, worked hard all of my life. Time, no help from my friends. Nick Rich, music has always been what soothes the savage beast. Mr. Spock, I should barbecue some chicken. Don't say that too loud. You're going to upset your chickens out there. Susie Jones, my house was robbed in '94, lost an extensive album collection. I feel for you, Susie. I had that happen to me when I was out truck driving and I was on the road and someone broke into my house. I had a pretty extensive CD collection. And I had some albums that I had from when I was a kid, like Beatles albums and just stuff from, really old stuff. And all that shit got ripped off. And my entire baseball collection, I had unopened boxes, mint condition stuff from the 60s and 70s and 80s. And all that shit got stolen. I had a Hot Wheel collection of cars from when I was a kid. And I kept really good care of them. And they were in, I wouldn't say mint condition, but they were in good to very good condition. All those got ripped off. It's just, on the one sense, it's heartbreaking and it can really just make you sick to your stomach. But then on the other hand, I just got to tell myself, okay, these are just material things, and it's not the end of the world. There are more important things than material things. Sandy says, stop skipping the chat. Well, Sandy, if I didn't, I wouldn't even be reading this chat right now because I would still be an hour and a half behind this chat. So I have to skip. And that's just the way it goes. I'm not going to sit here and read every single chat for 5 hours. Okay? Peter Hertz says, Susie Jones, my stuff has been stolen a few times. It sucks. Sorry for your loss. Yeah, it totally sucks. It's very, if I think about it too much, then it just is sickening. But like I said, so I have to just, I guess the way I kind of calm myself is I just say, well, those are just possessions. Those are material possessions. And there are more important things than material possessions, like family and, friends and family and things like that. That's more important. Okay, so here we go. David Willer said, Kiss's bus broke down. I was with Michael Murphy, bass on Wildfire, Midnight Special. Oh, awesome, David Willer. That's a great song. That Wildfire. That was a huge, huge hit for Michael Murphy. So congratulations, David, for being the bass player on that. That's pretty awesome. So Kiss's bus broke down, and so you guys got stuck with them. They were hitched a ride with you. Huh? Did Michael Murphy recently pass away or something? I don't know. That was a great song. I used to sing along to that song on the radio. And David Willer, were you the one playing bass on that recording? Nick Rich says AI music is easy to make, but it usually sounds the same without decent prompts. Yeah, it's a whole thing. Yeah, it's. I do the AI music just for the fun of it, and the ones that I've had, some of them have come out decent, but I am not going to claim that I'm a musician and or that these songs are better than what a real live musician could write or a songwriter could write. I just do it for the fun of it, and just so I can have something to play, basically that isn't that's copyright free. What about, says Frank Marino, Mahogany Rush 4, Dragonfly. Christina Weibel, Adam Mockler is great. He's good. I'll say he's good. Damon Ogg says, Roxanne, I actually said that. Oh, fuck, out loud? I can't believe I forgot Alice in Chains. They take up a lot of my playlist. Yeah, Alice in Chains, great band. I love Alice in Chains. One of those 90s bands that I love. Weezer, yes. Gary Weezer, one of my favorite all-time bands, and I do seem to, when we talk about music, I do seem to not mention them. But Weezer, definitely one of them. They're one of those '90s alt rock bands, and I love Weezer. I used to have I had their first probably 4 or 5 CDs. Look, Dragon says, would you, if you had to do it over again, forget about the man in the box? Look, Dragon says, or Roxanne says, look, Dragon. Jen said you hate Tori Amos. I thought you loved her. Which one is it, hun? I love Tori Amos. Cornflake girl. Squirrel Girl said, when I said live chat, when I first come in defaults to top chat, I have to change the option to live chat. Well, maybe your device is different. To see all messages is what I was talking about. Yes, I know I'm online. I don't know. My yeah. I guess maybe it just depends on how your device is set up. But, yeah. I'm kind of skipping down a lot of the music talk. Aaron West, $2 super chat. Yippee! Thank you, Aaron West. I appreciate you for that $2 super chat. Give you a thumbs up and a heart. We're 3/5 of the way. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you. We're almost there at the goal. Nick Rich, my cousins have been working 70-hour weeks working on roadwork construction here in Ontario. Before the bad weather comes in, I guess. You got to get that road work done. Let's see. Nick Rich, 1 o'clock, so I'm still 23 minutes behind, but with all the skipping. If I hadn't skipped, I'd be an hour and 23 minutes behind. Luck Dragon says, in your defense, I always like Christine McVie more than Stevie Nicks, but what do I know? Hey, look, it's all subjective, guys. You can like Christine McVie more than Stevie Nicks or vice versa. It's all subjective. There's no wrong answer here. unless it's something I deem to be a wrong answer. Roxanne79 says Jewel's amazing too. She's a great songwriter. Yeah, she's an awesome singer songwriter. Christine Weibel, how about Sade? Her voice is amazing. Yeah, she's very good. Erica Badu, Lauren Hill. Yeah. We get it. Marsha with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Marsha. Yippee to you. Thank you so much. Marsha says, always enjoy chat here. And you, Trucker John 3. 3 more people for the goal, please. I have to get used to typing on a laptop again. Well, thank you very much, Marsha. I appreciate you. Always appreciate it. You know, it's never necessary or required, but certainly greatly appreciated when people can help out and like that. But make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. That's all free, and that helps out the show too. So thanks everyone for being here. We got a great group today, and I appreciate you being here. Roxanne79 says, Fleetwood Mac harmonized so lovely. I like both Stevie and Christine. Oh, and it's really sad. Christine just passed away, and last year, I guess. And her and Stevie Nicks were about to get ready to go out on to do a show together. I think they were going to, I'm not exactly sure, but they were going to tour together. I don't know if they were going to break it up like, maybe Christine would do like a show and Stevie would do her own show, or if they were going to have overlap it and have some, they were going to do stuff together. I don't know. I'm not sure how they were going to do it. All I know is they were in talks with each other and they were going to go out on tour together, and then Christine died suddenly, and that was sad. That was very sad. Roxanne79, Tina Turner is one of my favorites also. I like Tina Turner. She was cool. She loved to wear those short skirts and show off them legs and dance all over the stage. Great energy, I wonder if it's overcast. All of a sudden it got kind of dark out. I think we're getting overcast out there. I have not stepped outside yet today. But that's only 97. We haven't even broken 100 yet, and it's 1:26 in the afternoon. So, like I said, I'll take it. For August 16th, I will take it. Marcia says, I'm too, Lucky Dragon. Trucker John gives me grief when I donate because he knows I can't afford it, so don't tell him. Well, now you just told me. And look, if you can't afford it, please don't. If you cannot afford it, please do not do it. I do not want anyone to send money to this show if it's going to cause any type of hardship with you and with your finances, with your paying your bills or buying food or whatever it is. Please do not. Believe me, just you being here and hitting the subscribe button and the thumbs up button and just contributing to the chat with your opinions is enough. So please, Marcia and everybody else, do not send anything if it's going to create any type of financial hardship or whatever. Please, 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 please. Please do not. Yeah, Marcia, I love you, but I do not want to be taking money from anyone if you can't afford it. Please don't do it. One Vision says, none of you will believe me. Marty Shifter, better known as Marty McBride, is my fucking cousin, Medicine Lodge, Kansas. That's cool. I don't know who Marty McBride is or Marty Shifter, but okay, that's cool. Nick Rich says the last concert I was at was Peter Frampton in the early 80s. Wow, Nick, that's a while back. Do you feel the way I feel? Hey, Mr. Bob Newell's here. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Mr. Bob Newell, have you been to Lubbock? I have. I have been to Lubbock. Tim Farrell, the Farrell One, says, hi, gang, just in time to like and share. Well, thank you, Tim. I do appreciate you coming on in. Josh C. says, TJ should get an inflatable hot tub in the apartment. That would be nice. I could fit it right behind my couch, maybe. One division, not your buttocks. Yeah, my buttocks. I got shot in the buttocks. Go sit on your couch. I'm tempted to do that. I'm thinking about doing that. I might just do the show from the couch from now on. Until there's chair. I think I will. You know, Sandy, I was thinking about doing that. I might just do that. We could test it out. I mean, there's not going to be the Trucker John Livestream background because I don't have a green screen over there. But I do have, you know, like for the next show, I could put the green screen over there. Okay, let's do a test, Sandy and everybody. Let's just do it. Let's do a test. We're almost done. We're over 2 hours anyhow, so I'm going to be ending the show pretty soon. Anyhow, let's do a little test. Let's see if this is even viable. Is that the right word? Viable? So let's see how this might work. I would put this right over here, maybe. Let's see. Dang it. All right. Can you guys still hear me? I'm not hearing anything. Did I lose the volume? Let's see. Test, test, test. You guys still hear me? Okay, you can still hear me. I don't know why the volume on there went off. I could just do something like this. Be on my couch. And then I might just do that until the share comes. Sandy, I think that's a good idea because this is a lot more comfortable. And hey, there's a dime on the floor. I found a bunch of coins on the floor the other day. I guess it fell out of my pocket. Now there's still a dime down there. Let's see here. Oh, look, now you get the mirror. I don't know if we want the mirror. Okay. Let's get the mirror out of the background, at least. I don't know. Oh, someone did thumbs down. Was there no sound? Sound bad. No, the sound was off because for some reason that thing came on. I don't want to say the name of it because it might come back on again. Let's see. All right. So here I am. This is more comfortable on the couch. You know, I can just kick back. You know. Josh, that chair is questionable. Oh, it's more than questionable. It's shot. That chair is shot. That chair's going in the trash. So yeah, I might just do it from here until the other chair comes back in. BD Hurst says my chair was about $130 at BJ's. Did the job. The one I just bought was $89 with shipping and everything. It came to like 120 something. So yeah, hopefully it's a good one. It says it has it'll hold 400 pounds. So anyway, you guys can still hear me, right? Hey, John from Las Vegas says maybe try standing during your show like Hal does. No, that wouldn't work for me. That wouldn't work for me. War Pigs, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one from Sabbath. Nick Rich says, Luck Dragon, or look at Luck Dragon. You reminded me. The last concert was in early '90s. Santana and Jeff Beck backing up Steve Miller Band. How could I forget? Mr. Bob Newell, we already talked about Sammy, or David Lee or Sammy. We've already gone over that. But I prefer David Lee Roth. But I love Sammy. Okay? Just to be clear, I love Sammy. I love the Hagar, all the Hagar stuff. But I like David Lee Roth better, and the David Lee Roth era better. All right? It's kind of like, oh, no. I'm not going to go down that road. Anyhow, yeah, we're way over 2 hours. Just want to make sure I don't run out of battery. Roxanne 79, Faith No More is great, and Tesla was cool. Tesla, another band that I don't talk enough about. I had 4 or 5 of their CDs. I love Tesla. One of my favorite all-time rock bands is Tesla. Damon Dog says my last concert was Dropkick Murphys on the National Mall back 2 months ago when DC. Oh, that's right. When DC was still a free American city. I remember that, Damon Dog. It seems like 2 months ago. How could I forget already? But yeah, Damon Dog was there and shot some video. A little bit of video of that. I saw that. Kimchi, the beautiful Kimchi, Goddess Kimchi is here. Thank you, Kimchi. Thanks for popping in. I do appreciate you for being here. Apparently, the back is still bothering you. Like I said, I've had back injuries where it laid me up for 6 weeks. So just take it easy. It'll heal on its own time, and then after a while, at some point, you will need to start getting up and walking around, and But I think there's nothing wrong with. I think the first 2 weeks, actually, if your back is so bad, really bad, I see nothing wrong with like the first 2 weeks of just being like almost total bed rest, and then you kind of gradually can judge from there how much you can do. And just take it slow. Backs are tricky, man. Just take it easy, take it slow, take it day by day. You'll get there. Robert Perez, Jimi Hendrix, #1 for me. Yeah, Jimi Hendrix. I love Jimi Hendrix. I love me some Jimi Hendrix. He's right up there, guitar god. You know, kind of like I guess my Mount Rushmore, and this is just coming from a non-musician, just a person who loves rock music. I'm not an expert, so I don't need all the expert mumbo jumbo. But my Mount Rushmore is going to be probably Eddie Van Halen, Slash, Jimi Hendrix, Randy Rhoads, how many are there in Mount Rushmore? 4 or 5? So what I got Eddie, Slash, Hendrix, Randy Rhoads. That's 4. Is there only 4 or is there 5 on Mount Rushmore? If there's 5, then I got to come up with one more. Mr. Spock, rest in peace, Freddie Mercury. Not a very good guitar player, but fucking could sing the roof off. I love me some Queen. Oh yeah. So if there's a 5th, then it's gotta be Jimmy Page. See, Brian May made me think of Jimmy Page. That was the long way of getting it. Freddie Mercury made me think of Brian May. Brian May made me think of Jimmy Page. So I guess I would put Jimmy Page. If there's not a 5th person on Mount Rushmore, I'm going to make my Mount Rushmore is going to have 5 on there. All right. Roxanne 79. I used to love all Eric Clapton, but I found out he's a racist. Him and Van Morrison. I stopped listening, just like Michael Jackson. Yeah, I know. Me too. Same as far as like, their politics. Well, at least for Clapton and Morrison. Michael Jackson being, I think, probably a pedophile, makes me, whenever I hear there, how like with Nugent, I turn the station. I turn the station on these guys too. All right, so I'm skipping down because we gotta say our goodbyes here pretty soon. The Lucky Minute said I bought my son 3 records before he goes off to school next week. Fleetwood, Tom Petty, and STP. And I love all those. I love Fleetwood Mac, I love Tom Petty, and I love Stone Temple Pilots. Oh, McVie died in 2022. Time just goes by so fast. It seems like she just died last year, doesn't it? At least to me. But it's already been like 3 years. Thank you for that update, VD. Her sake for correcting me, because it just seems like it was just last year, right? I mean, isn't that crazy? It's already been like 3 years. Wow. Rest in peace, Christine McVie. Great voice. She seemed like a sweet person, a nice person. Very, very talented, so talented. Songwriter. Some of the greatest hits are Christine McVie's, mainly her songs. I mean, mainly written by her. I think they may have had shared writing credits, but a lot of it is Christine McVie, Luck Dragon says, my mom loved REO Speedwagon, so by default I had to. She also loved Barry Manilow. Barry Manilow, I'm not going to deny his talent and his success, and millions and millions of fans, sold millions and millions of records. I like Mandy. I like that song, Mandy. REO Speedwagon, their hits, the ones that they had hits, I'll crank that up. I'll crank it up. Someone's outside talking really loud. Do they not know we have a show going on right now? Somebody's saying something kind of funny. Kimchi says, Barry Manilow is a bridge too far, getting into Engelbert Humperdinck Lounge. Speaking of Engelbert Humperdinck, he is still performing. When I was at the Sam's Club last night, there was like an advertisement. I don't know if he was playing at Sam's Town because they have Boyd Gaming owns a lot of different places, and so he's at one of their places. Engelbert Humperdinck on his, I think they called it his final farewell tour or something like that. I don't know how old he is. I didn't look it up, but God bless him. Barry Manilow, well into his 80s. Ringo Starr still performs. I think Wayne Newton is still performing. Rod Stewart is still performing. He's in his 80s. They're all in their 80s. Engelbert Humperdinck performing. I think Tom Jones is still performing. All these dudes in their 80s. Now, granted, I'm sure they're not as good as they were 40 years ago in their primes, but they're good enough they're filling seats, man. People are still seeing them. And every time I picked someone up from a Barry Manilow concert, they just rave at how great the concert was. Because he's playing here at Westgate in Vegas. It's kind of amazing and kind of inspirational, that these guys are still performing at that age. It kind of gives me inspiration to get up off this couch. VD Hertz says, Fortune magazine headline, Trump is deporting so many immigrants that it could cause inflation to hit 4% next year. Top economist says that doesn't even include the tariffs. We're in for a world of fucking hurt. We ain't seen nothing yet. We are just at the tip of the iceberg with the hurt that we're going to be feeling. Speaking of VD Hertz, we're just at the tip of the iceberg. Roxanne79 says, I like Rod Stewart too in excess, but I love Curtis Mayfield and Marvin Gaye, Isaac Hayes, and Stevie Wonder. Yeah, me too. Those are all great performers, great artists. Yeah. They're all right there. Nick Rich, 4:30 in his neighborhood. I think I am 16 minutes behind. Roxanne79, my first cassette tape was Madonna, Like a Virgin. Aaron West, I love Elvis. I love Elvis. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you very much. Look, Dragon says, the first music I ever got before I could go to a music store and buy them or bootleg blank cassette tapes. Hey, there's Kimchi, $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much, Kimchi. Yippee! I think, and then Kimchi with a 99 center. I guess that is what got us to the goal. Yippee, Kimchi! Yippee, yippee, yippee! Thank you so much. You guys are really awesome. And just for that, we're gonna say thank you guys so very much. I do appreciate you for all your support and helping the show grow. And just to keep going. I do appreciate it. I really, really do. Look at here. I get to sit on the couch now too. Thanks, guys. I do appreciate it because whenever we make the gold, then that's when Trucker John lets me out of my cookie jar. And otherwise, I'm just. If you ever wondered where I actually live, it's in a cookie jar. And when the lid is on that thing, it's just dark and lonely. So thanks for making the goal so that my evil master, Trucker John, will let me out. And in fact, Trucker John said I should probably just read a couple chats. Mr. Spock says, Jimmy rocks. Yeah, Jimmy Allen. I remember Jimmy Allen in high school. Yeah. I don't know. We used to stuff him in the locker, but maybe he rocks. I don't know. What else we got here? Mr. Spock says, I have philosophers. You might want to get that checked out, Mr. Spock. Sounds like you might need an ointment for that or something. I don't know. Search for You says, what did I miss? Laughing out loud. You missed nothing because I wasn't on until just now. So now you're at the good part. Search for You did his chair break. His chair is shit. His chair apparently is causing his buttocks to hurt. If I had buttocks, I could maybe relate. I'm a cookie. Cookies don't have buttocks. You know what I mean? Love Dragon says, what about Robin Trower or Stevie Ray Vaughan? What about him? Christina Weibel, Eminem is sober 20 years and he speaks to me. Well, there you go. There you go, Christina. Sounds like a wonderful relationship you're having. Air West 2 hour. Yeah, Aaron, I've been trying to tell him. Your battery's going to go, dude. He won't listen to me. And next thing you know, I'm going to be back in the cookie jar. Oopsies, there he goes. Trucker John just lifted him up and put him in the cookie jar. So, yeah, anyhow, sorry about that, Cookie. Tough Cookie. I'm going to read some chats. Apparently, Trucker John is tired of reading chats, and he said that we could do it. So I'm going to read one here. It says, I.e. Johnny, light, question mark, frantically shaking first at autocorrect, vendetta, the like, not light. Oh, okay. So that was a reference to hitting the thumbs ups, right? Let's hit those thumbs ups. Hey, that 32 watches, 71. Hey, look at there. I didn't even notice 71 thumbs ups. That's quite a big surplus. You guys are really good Democrats. We've got lots of a big surplus of thumbs ups. So thank you guys so much. Thanks, guys, for being here, by the way. I do like the comfy couch. I think you should do the show from the couch all the time, Trucker John, because it's way more comfortable than that thing. I do have buttocks, and I've sat on that chair, and that chair needs to go in the garbage. I'm telling you right now. BD Hertz, I saw Boston Live. Hey, Trucker John also saw, he told me about it. Trucker John also saw Boston Live at the Fabulous Forum, if I recall. It was Fabulous Forum, right, Trucker John? Yeah, Fabulous Forum in LA in 1978, I believe. Yeah, you saw? He saw old Tom Holes there, or Tom, what's his name? The guitarist. Ooh, I think we might need, Trucker John, I think you're going to need two. You might need two Mount Rushmores. Anyhow, thanks guys for being here. You guys are awesome. Make sure that you guys, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. That'd be great. It'd be wonderful if you could do that. And I think Trucker John wants to come in and say some quick goodbyes. But bye. Bye, guys. Thanks for being here. All right. So, yeah, that was those guys. They were hanging out. I don't really put Cookie in a cookie jar. He's pulling your leg. Don't believe him. Anyhow, I'm just scrolling down here a little bit. BD Hertz says, I live in the woods of Vermont. I just sit out this time of year with my computer and as desktop. I roll or stand outside. Life is good. That sounds wonderful, BD Hertz. That sounds awesome. In fact, Josh says we need a short video of the disposal of the old chair into the dumpster. Well, I'm wondering if I should keep it just for emergencies. Nah, see, that's an issue. That's a bit of a hoarding issue. I do not need to keep that chair. So you're right. I should toss it away. And just to prove it, I should probably make a video of it. You know what I mean? Oh, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you very much, everybody. I'm the king of rock and roll. I want to thank you very much for being here today. You guys are awesome. You think did Elvis ever say awesome? I'm not sure if the king ever used that word awesome before, but I want to thank you very much. And I don't know, did Elvis ever sway back and forth like this from side to side? I don't know. I don't know if he did or not. What can I tell you? All right, guys. So again, thank you guys for being here. I think we're gonna have to end the show before the battery dies. It's gonna die, folks. I'll see you guys again Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific time zone, right here on the Trucker John channel. We'll be here. I'll probably be doing it from the couch. I think I'm going to just do the rest of these shows until my new chair comes in from the couch, and so that my right buttocks doesn't hurt. No one wants a right or left buttock to hurt. You know what I mean? I do. You know what I mean? All right, guys. See you guys Monday. Only thing left to do is the words of wisdom. Make sure you guys get something to write with. Write these down. These are like life-changing, these words of wisdom. Okay, guys, ready? So here's today's words of wisdom from Trucker John, are as follows.
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes. Might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes. But if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid. But doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John Livestream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John Livestream. Yeah, the Trucker John Livestream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John Livestream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. Don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again.
Rolling down the highway in my rusty old rig. I'm a retired trucker, but my spirit's still big. Living in Vegas, where the lights never sleep. Broadcasting my thoughts for the world to keep. From politics to pop culture, I've got it all. Sharing my views, no matter how big or small. Talking about food, the movies and bugs. Shining a light on all the social issues. No shows, I've driven through the desert, seen the city so bright. But now I'm living in a different kind of fight. From my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. In my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free.
So you wanna take a trip down Paradise Road, but it ain't that pretty, it ain't paved with gold. Everybody's got the dirty little secrets, everybody's got some things unknown. But if you ain't real careful, baby, it'll cut you down to the bone. Under all those bright lights, you've gotta learn to ignore the glitter. It's all about fight or flight, and you don't wanna do either. So go on down to Paradise Road, it'll make you wish that you were young. But all it'll do is make you feel old and regret trading in your love for lust. It's all just a big charade, it's all just one big game, and it ain't about love, it's all about the thrills. It's about staying in the hunt, it's about going in for the kill. So head on down to Paradise Road, that's where your friends are now. They're the people that nobody knows. So go ahead and make your big show. So live it up on Paradise Road, just don't let anyone know. It'll be your dirty little secret, it'll be your guilty little pleasure. Living a secret that the whole world sees, hiding in plain sight among the scum and the thieves. So damn hard to ever be pleased. Everyone wants to live the good life, everybody wants a piece of paradise. But where would you run? Where would you hide? What would you do to buy a little more time? Grandiose dreams of happily ever after are really just another day's end. And when the sun goes down, you just lay there wondering, can you really do it all again? You're praying for one last shot, you're hoping for one last big win. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along.